Money Vikings, welcome back. I've got a very important one for you today as we continue our true wealth journey and continue discussing Bitcoin and basically how there really is no alternative at the moment. And let me kind of lay it out for you with some numbers and lay it out with you with some common sense. So the fiat cash system, as we're all feeling, just doesn't work. So think about, and I think a lot more about younger people, actually. I think a lot more about people in their 20s than people my age at the moment. I'm a Gen Xer, but the point being, I could really imagine a lot of frustration if a person is in their 20s and 30s. So first of all, a basic need of life and of creating a family and all that is housing. And I know if there's financial gurus out there now that talk about how don't buy a house, blah, blah, blah. But owning your own home is still a core, I think, desire of many people that want stability and want to build wealth over the long term. Now, you don't have to own a home. You can rent, but rents are high too. So, okay, the mortgage is high and maintenance is high and insurance is high, but also renting is high. So rent's only going to go up. You just cannot depend on just cash. So, one of my financial mentors who's passed away now, but many years ago told me, he said, you're never going to be able to save enough. And that's for 99% of us. Yes, there's the 1% of movie stars and rock stars and sports stars, and there's like 5% of the hedge fund managers on Wall Street. Yes, they make a crazy amount of money that, millions and millions a year, that yes, they could probably get away with just not investing, I guess. They can hold cash because they have enough of it. That is, so first of all, a lot of those people end up blowing it, but anyway, it's a different story. That is for 1%. Most of us, the rest of us have got to learn how to invest. We have to learn how to build strategic portfolios. We have to learn how to make money for us. This is further compounded for younger people, anyone who's under the age of 40 years old. Because if you're under the age of 40, you probably don't have a pension. You probably do not. That was something that the baby boomers, the older baby boomers had access to, and a lot of their parents had access to. They had access to defined pensions. So they'd work for a company for 30 years, and they'd retire. The joke was you'd get a gold watch, and you'd get 70% of your salary for the rest of your life, or 50% of your salary. And then you add Social Security, and the person was fine. They almost had their same standard of living, their same income. It wasn't fluctuating based on recessions and the market. The market is crazy making day to day. So it takes a lot of psychological fortitude to ignore the noise. So I talk a lot about. And I want to talk about ignoring the noise for Bitcoin and focusing on the signal. What does that mean? There's a lot of noise. There's a lot of noise out there in general. There's a lot of noise. So first of all, the media is all about selling your attention span to sell advertisements. So it has to create noise because that's what gets our monkey brains to pay attention to it. But are you really diving into the signal? Are you focusing on the signal? I did a video the other day where I drew a chart where I showed the price of Bitcoin over the last, 14 years. And what did it do? Yeah, it was volatile, okay? It did up and down, but it did up and down, but always over the long run up, okay? So what I did is I drew a straight line from the bottom, 0 when it started, or 5 cents, whatever, to what it is now, about $97,000 a coin, okay? Did it go a lot like this in the middle? Yes, but it went like that. That's a trend, okay? That's a trend that will probably most likely continue. I think especially as people start to realize inflation is not magically going away anytime soon. So I know that people thought with like this, the last election, that inflation is going to disappear. No, 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 no. No, it's not. It's not. And I really don't think there's a lot anyone can do to control that. So the Fed is going to tinker with interest rates to try to manage it. The government's going to try to work on the supply side, it sounds like, in terms of more supply of different things. But I think there are macro existential trends in the world that no human can really totally manage. So you can't manage the fact that, the Chinese economy is going to fall apart, that demographically things aren't looking that good for most countries. And that is going to create supply-demand imbalances, and that's going to drive the price of things up. Now, maybe automation, maybe AI, maybe some of that stuff will help us a little bit, but there's also going to be disruption from that. There's going to be job disruption, career disruption, etc. from AI and automation. Okay, back to the point. You have to look at numbers here, okay? If inflation is running hot, let's just say it's running at 5%, okay? Your $100,000 is losing 5% of its value every single year forever. So that's going to continue on. You have taxes to contend with. That's going to continue on. You have all these forces that are sort of working against us in terms of the use of cash and fiat currency. So that needs to be bolstered, I believe, by the technology of digital gold, of Bitcoin. That is the one thing that, because it's finite and because people are looking for a store of capital and value, that's going to play out well, I think, over the long run. So that's my 5-minute spiel. Please like and subscribe, all that great stuff, and we'll see you on the next one. Take care.